lot of soul.
This is Bass Talk Live. Your host, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrack. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, AFCO, Big Bite Baits, Sunline, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Monday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Top of the morning to you, Matthew.
These new mic stands are quite handy. I no longer have to hunch. Now I feel like we could face the camera. The plant is looking amazing as always. Yeah. Sound is crisp and clear. This is amazing. And these boom mics, this a new technology feature, or have these been around a while?
No, Matthew. They have been around quite a while.
Very nice. Obviously, Jeffrey's referring to, if you're one of the 5,000 people over the last 3 days who has seen the one-on-one match between Mark Jeffries and myself. Congratulations, Mark. You did beat me on 10 Killer, and as a man of my word, I did replace the beer that I did drink out of your refrigerator, and here is a crisp $20 bill.
There you have it, folks. One time in 8. Hey. You know,
head over to the BTL YouTube channel if you're not watching it on YouTube right now after the show, and you can see that he did beat me 10.5 pounds to 3 3/4 pounds. But there is a but here. The numbers don't really do it justice, because we did happen to pick a lake that had a 13 to 16 inch slot, and I was cursed.
Dude, I was right there with you. I caught a ton of slots.
Well, watch
the
video, and
I have no idea.
Be the judge of that.
I have no idea. Oh, now wait a minute. All right, there was a lot of footage that was missing because we didn't have ample battery life.
I don't know. There's a lot of footage of you not catching slot fish and the stuff I went through, Mark.
A lot of
congratulations, though. You had a game plan. You went through it, and I could tell, just like I could tell. So, like, when I go through the footage, so I have everyone's footage, right? So I had Christy's footage, Creed's footage, all of your footage, so I get to see what they do. Christy didn't really care. I mean, he cared, but he just kept doing it. Creed, when it wasn't going well for him, he spun out. He started running all over Lake Murray. Mark just kept going down a bank and then idling back up the bank and going down that bank over and over again. So I give you credit, because a lot of the tournaments that I did well in last year was really living in an area. So you took a slice out of how these guys are surviving. So good job. Now, that being said, I do believe one of the stipulations going into our one-on-one was no information, was it not?
This is true. I have many friends that fish that body of water. I did not make contact with any of those friends.
Then please tell me why I am looking at a screenshot of Brad Hallman's latest YouTube video that says it's a GoPro of dude. You could hear the guy telling you to go throw a crankbait down the bank.
No, that is not what was in the video.
This video right here, the screenshot, I believe the caption on it is 10 Killer info for Mark's one-on-one versus Panger, which was gotten before our match.
No.
Where you knew, go down the bank in the south end and throw a crankbait. Dude. Plus, you watched a video of Jason Christie live on 10 Killer. I didn't. I just showed up on 10 Killer, put together a flipping pattern. Had you not had that car ride and gathered that info from Brad Hallman and whoever he had on his phone, his magical mystery man who gave you the winning pattern, you'd have been up in the bushes throwing a spinnerbait, catching 15 3/4 inchers like me.
That is not true.
So while you did win, I believe there should be an asterisk next to it since I've got it. I have video footage of you gathering evidence.
I did not. Look, what is Brad supposed to do when one of his friends call?
Yeah.
All right, and there was nothing.
I knew there had to be a reason.
Time out, dude. There was nothing that was said in that phone call that changed anything that I was going to do. You saw the video of what I had tied up when I was in the studio days before that phone call even took place.
So here's what I'm willing to do.
Stirring the pot.
Here's what I'm willing to do.
What?
Jeff Crete wanted a rematch. Jason Christie offered him a rematch. Now, there was no talk of a rematch with you. I have actually heard people tell you, don't do a rematch with him. Here's how I want a rematch to work. If you're willing to do it. We take 3 lakes in the area that neither of us have been to within 5 years.
Wow.
We put them in a hat. We draw that name out of the hat, and then we go there the next day.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Because I have no expectations. My expectations are, if we do it that way, that I got a shot. All right. But
I knew you had a shot.
Angler.
I don't know why people didn't think that you couldn't fish. You can fish. You have fish. A lot of the stuff that I do in Oklahoma, a lot of my stuff is because of Mark and what he has. I mean, Mark, just like I've been around guys, Mark's been around guys. Mark fishes. He's got plaques that he's won back there. That's why I gave it a 3-1. It's not like you just got a boat and you're like, oh, what are we doing out here today? I mean, you have fished for the past 30 years of your life.
Dude, I'm good with that. I think that would be fun. And there are several bodies of water, as long as it's not American Dead Horse. Not going there ever again.
That's fine.
All right.
Because that wouldn't fall because you'd already been there.
The stipulation is we have to agree on the 4 or 5 lakes.
Yeah, and then we put them in a boat. We got a great show today, that being said. Congratulations, you won. It was fair and square.
Hey, real quick, before we move into what we have on tap for this week. Great week coming up. I received an enormous amount of comments about the ProCraft. A lot of people like that boat, and I want people to understand that is a boat that was owned by my fishing partner 20 years ago. The boat is old. I think it's like a 2007 or 2006. And it only had, when I bought it, it only had 18 hours on the motor. That's it. Pat never, ever, ever used it. There's not a scratch on it. And if I told everybody the price that I paid for that boat, they would have said, oh, well, yeah, I would have jumped all over that. I'll tell you this much. It was less than $20,000. That's all I'm going to say. Quite a bit less than $20,000. So pretty much a brand new boat, only 18 hours on the motor. But yeah, it's a 2007. It's 13 years old.
Yeah, I said you added the Lowrances, the power poles, and all Treks on it.
Yeah, got spot lock and all that. It is my retirement boat. So I don't want anybody out there thinking, Matt, he's running the Bass Cat, which, by the way, man, it is looking very, very sparkly. That color combination. I know you didn't like it at first, but
the only reason I didn't like it was because it leaned towards orange.
Yeah, but
it had an orange hue to it, which, if you look at our arch nemesis, we're both OU grads, would be the Cowboys and the Longhorns.
It's not burnt orange.
No, it's a coral is actually the color, and it does grow on me. And then I got the truck that matches that kind of gray silvery hull rest. So
very good stuff.
Yeah, great show today.
All right, we're going to kick the week off. Very excited to have our first guest on today. We're going to do it around 9 o'clock today. Aaron Martens is going to join us, and I spoke to Aaron yesterday for quite some time, and Robbie Stanford, one of his really, really close friends, had sent us some pictures and said that Aaron was doing well and that he'd like to come on the show. So I called him yesterday, and we talked for quite some time. So he's going to come on the show, and I know all the fans out there are going to have a ton of well wishes for just an iconic angler in this game, Matthew.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I said it again. No one just meets Aaron. Everyone has a story about meeting Aaron because he is that personable with everybody that he comes in contact with.
Yeah.
Have you heard of anybody I've never heard of a story like, boy, Aaron was in a bad mood today. Have you?
Never.
I mean, you get that with Van Dam, you get that with Skeet, you get that with Ike.
Yeah.
You get that with all those guys. I mean, if there's just, you caught him on a bad day.
Never.
I mean, I'm sure he has bad days, but and it doesn't matter who it is.
No, you're right, man. You're right. So really, really looking forward to talking to Aaron here in a few minutes. He's going to be on live via Skype. All right, tomorrow we're going to have Josh Bertrand on, and it's been a while since we've had Josh on. But he's got his hands in all kinds of endeavors.
It is. Obviously, we've talked about this, and if you follow social media, you'll see all these guys, elite series, pro circuit, BPT guys, trying to find a way, for lack of a better term, to stay relevant in a world with no professional bass tournaments right now.
Yeah.
You got one-on-ones. You got guys fishing one-on-ones and then analyzing their one-on-ones. You got the rewinds. You've got all sorts of, Van Dam's doing all sorts of live stuff. Well, Bertrand, before all this has started, he's about a year into it, has his own podcast, which is a very popular thing to be doing these days.
Everybody wants to try.
So I listened to a lot of them, and I got hooked on. It's called Angler's Happy Hour, and it's Josh and two other a guide and one of his other buddies out in Arizona, and they fish Roosevelt and Havasu and all those lakes out there. But it deals some with tournament fishing, and they'll have different guests on, but it's really unique and really well done. And I've kind of talked with Josh through some of the trials and tribulations of getting this podcast up and running, and it's gaining some traction. It's really cool. So I thought, hey, it would be cool to have him on to talk about what it's like. Because, you've been doing this for 15, 20 years now, between either a show, a podcast, an XM show, and I've been doing it for 12 years. So we kind of take it for granted. At least I do. You don't. I see how hard you work on the technological side of it. But to talk to Josh about that kind of aspect and growing it, because, dude, Josh, and I didn't even realize this, he's always outgoing and professional. Translates great to the podcast form.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
So we're going to talk to him about that, what he's doing to stay in the game, doing a lot of fishing by himself, trying to do a lot of the podcast stuff. But I was like, man, you want to come on and talk about getting this thing up and going? He's like, heck yeah, let's roll.
Very nice. So Tuesday, Josh Bertrand. And then good news to report, Tim Horton's mother out of the hospital, doing much, much better at home. Tim is going to be on Wednesday, hopefully, from the water. And the dude has been spending, eons of time on the water throwing content out there. So hopefully we're going to have Tim on live via Skype from whatever lake that he's fishing at. So then on Thursday, I'm working on an interview that will or will not be live. All right.
I won't be here Thursday.
Matt, his stuff got rescheduled, so you're actually going to be at Table Rock on Thursday and Friday, correct?
Correct.
So on Thursday, I'm working on a very special interview, but we're trying to get the times worked out to where I can do it, and we may not be able to do it live, so it'll be just like the Brent Ayler interview that I did a few weeks ago.
I did just realize it is May the 4th. We should just call cold call Rojas at 6:45 in the morning. Big Star Wars fan.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen Star Wars. Have you?
Not one?
Never.
I think I saw
I've watched
the first two.
Like a portion of one time. I have. If someone was to say, I'll give you $1 million to tell me the premise of Star Wars, I would not be able to do it. I've not ever seen it.
Yeah.
Got nothing against it. It's just not.
I don't know, man. I have seen Spaceballs. Have you seen that one, the spoof? Mel Brooks movie?
Spaceballs.
Yeah. It's back from
I thought that
80s.
was... Oh, no, that's Space Jam.
Yeah.
With the Bugs Bunny and all that.
Yeah. Michael Jordan. No, Spaceballs. Anyway, dude, did you see the pile of crap that was in the driveway before you pulled up? Or were you too intrigued with the ducks?
No, Jeffries has a mating... So Jeffries lives in
they're paired up, man.
A mating pair.
Yeah.
Not actively mating. It's not like you... They've already done that part, and they decided to build a nest in Jeffrey's yard.
Yeah. They hang out. We feed them.
A mallard.
They're beautiful birds, man.
I always just they're super mellow because they're in a subdivision, and they're mating. They've got a nest at Jeffrey's front yard. They're super quiet and chill, but if you go within 10 feet of them, they start going...
They're cool, man.
So that's what happens when you don't have any outside cats left.
Well, here's what
you got squirrels and birds and ducks. You get the outside cats. I mean, it's like, remember when you had the 3 outside cats?
Yeah,
it was like the desert in your backyard. Now you've got Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Geese too, man. I didn't realize this. That's just how dumb I am. I didn't know geese were paired up for life.
Yeah. You ever seen the sad one where like one's hit and the other one's like hanging out by the road? It's kind of sad when you see that.
No, so we have.
Why is that? Because you have the cul-de-sac on one, or the drainage on one side and the creek behind you, so you're kind of the house that has the most water around you?
I don't know. We feed them, so maybe they know what birdseed.
They eat it.
Yeah, that's what we were told.
I thought that ducks only ate white bread.
No, that's actually bad for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't give the ducks bread. No, but where I was getting to, the pile of stuff that's over on the left side, dude, I was so exhausted this morning. Did you see how much wood was stacked up? Dude, we cut trees and branches and hedges. It's the first weekend in a long time that I haven't been fishing because it was the designated yard day. And my legs look like they are all bloodied up. And
well, they were like that before.
I know.
If you watch the one-on-one live, it was pretty much your shins for the first half until you adjusted the camera there.
So when's the last time you hooked up with a chainsaw?
I weed-eated yesterday.
That's not a chainsaw.
A chainsaw?
Yeah. You ever cut anything with a chainsaw? It was sitting out there on the barbecue for some.
Was that an electric chainsaw?
No. Heck no, man.
No. I've been doing a lot of work. Like I uprooted probably 500 pounds of monkey grass and then put a garden in around the girlfriend's house. Retaining
garden.
Retainer
what
blocks.
What did you plant?
So we're doing a rock garden because when everything gets going, like she travels all the time for her horses. So she's doing some succulents it's like a mixture of rock and some cactus in there. And then I went and got like little cedar edging.
Yeah.
And then buried that all along. So you have cedar edging within the rock, and then you have some succulents mixed in with some
what is
original rock. It's like a agave, like stuff that kind of can withstand drought.
Huh.
It doesn't require a whole bunch of attention.
So it's like a Vegas yard. You know, they have those yards in Vegas that no grass.
Yeah, it's a Vegas yard 3 feet from the house. But the rest of it's just overgrown grass.
Okay. It was fun. The chainsaw is fun.
Yeah.
I like
I painted fences. I'll paint the house, taped off the house, dug up the garden, I did the same thing for 2 or 3 days this weekend.
Yeah, I was wiped, man. Wiped. And then I'm actually, we're walking 2 miles a day. Every single day.
Is that twice around the neighborhood then?
Yeah, but we go back in the gated neighborhood. We can get in the gated neighborhood, so we walk through. Anyway, 2 miles.
Do people come out of their house and congratulate you on your victory as you walk past?
Actually, I was at the grocery store on Saturday, and somebody did mention that.
No way.
Oh, yeah. At Crest. Yeah. I was standing in line. They go, "Hey, Jeffries, nice job."
There's 5,000 people out of 9 billion people in the world that have seen this, and you rated to someone at Crest?
Yeah, but think about it, dude. Where is a really good core following that we have?
Oklahoma.
Here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of funny. So, one for the old guys. Yes. Somebody also asked me what was the crankbait that I was using. And it was an old Bomber 6A was one of them. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was an old Strike King crankbait that you can't. They don't even make anymore. I mean, it's
not as old as the one Maynard sent us.
No. And red was the color, and some guys.
You sure it wasn't just an original Series 4 or Series 3?
No. This was back in the old logo days. The blue logo. Do you remember the blue logo? Strike King blue logo.
Nope.
Yeah. It had a little circle thing, and then it said Strike and King, and. Yeah, it was old. It's got to be 20, 25 years old. So don't even make that crankbait anymore. But anyway, a couple of housekeeping items real quick. For our iTunes listeners, listen, I have been working really hard with the company that provides our platform that gets the show over to iTunes. And there seems to be an issue with some of the stuff that's going on with iTunes that people are not getting. The downloads or the episodes are not showing up in their feed.
Which is ironic that you're talking about it on an episode that might not show up on their feed. So how are they going to hear about it?
But maybe the word will get out. Here, 2 things are happening here. One, you have to make sure that your iTunes app is up to date. When they have an update, it is very, very important.
Some phones do it automatically, some don't. So if yours doesn't, you just go in, there'll be a little exclamation point or something next to it. You just update the iTunes store, and then boom, they'll all show up.
And if you do not update, there's a chance that the episodes may not show up. The quick fix is to delete the app and reinstall the app, and don't worry about your stuff being gone. Your stuff is still going to be there.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and I've received 4 or 5 emails where people have done that, and it comes back fine. So technology is great. Sometimes it has a few glitches in it. This is a glitch that we are dealing with. For people that have the auto update on, it's not an issue at all. But if you do not have the auto update, you have to do the update. That's the issue. So make sure that your podcasting app is up to date, and then you never have that issue whatsoever.
I also have a housekeeping.
All right, what do you got?
If you remember, last week we launched the BFE You Design the Color contest.
Yes.
With the Big Bite Baits BFE that we're designing, and the final prototype is on its way. And Big Bite has done several color contests in the past. And I think we're approaching the record for a record number of submissions.
Nice.
So I really want to blow it away. So you have until the 6th. You can go to the BassZone.com website, and it is the biggest, boldest, giantest banner on it, and it just says BFE You Design the Color, and then you click there. All you have to do, you give me your email address, the name of the color, and then whatever color you want to design. So or try to make a push to actually hit a magic number by the 6th for number of submissions, and then we'll actually go through and pick one, and then if your color, you put it in to select it, 500 BFEs in that color.
Nice.
So go ahead and
very
go
nice.
over there. Costs nothing at all. I mean, it's super simple. It's literally 3 boxes that you just put in your email address so we can contact you, the color and the color name. And Brad did catch a giant on the prototype.
Can you enter multiple times?
I don't know.
You need to find out. That is something we need to find out. So Jake in Ohio wanted to know. So find out on that one. All right. The other thing I want to mention, we actually did a test on this, secret little give back to the fans thing last night, and it was really, really good. And I'm telling you right now, folks, as soon as I can talk about this, we're going to build it up. It's a really, really cool thing, giving back to you, the fans, for everything that you guys have done for us so far here in 2020. And there are 2 companies, I'm going to tell you right now, they are stepping up big time to help us give back to you, because they realize also that the fans are the ones that make this happen. And I'm hoping I get the word today on the finalized numbers on what the prize packs are going to be. And we're going to kick this thing off. Hopefully, I'm pushing for next week. So we did the test. Don in Illinois and TJ in North Carolina were the 2 guys that helped me out with the test. And I did it by myself, but I got to be honest, Matt, I need you here. Right? It's going to go so much better with you here for fill time, so I can actually do some of the things over here on this side of the studio to make the flow go just a little bit better. It's creative. It does the 3 things that I have lived on, which is entertain, educate, and engage the fans. So we'll see. They enjoyed it last night, and we had a couple of things that we got to work out. But I'm telling you right now, if you do not have Zoom video audio capabilities, you need to get it, because it is going to be a utilization to take part in this. All right, you are going to have to have Zoom capabilities. We tried Skype.
I haven't
we
messed
tried
with Zoom yet.
We did it last night.
Is it easy?
It was awesome.
Easy?
Yeah, really, really easy.
That's what all the kids are going to school with, right?
Yeah.
Like you get on Zoom and you can see everyone else in the classroom and stuff.
Yeah. All right. They're telling us on the instant feedback you can enter multiple times.
Okay.
Is what they're saying. So I don't know.
Who's telling it?
So.
Someone in the know, or someone who just entered multiple times and it went through?
I think that's what it was. I have no idea. So there you have it. All right, what else, Matthew?
I want to tell them my favorite color. I'm submitting one. It's called the Jeffries. I've got to laugh out of this because it's very apropos today. It's going to be a solid dark blue background or black background with horizontal blue stripes down the bait, and then on the hook pads just a tiny little Nike logo. It's going to be called the Jeffries. It's going to look just like Mark Jeffries every single day in his polo shirt.
Man, it's going to be hot today. 95 for a high today.
And it's supposed to storm too, isn't it?
I don't think so, but I don't know. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with AMart right here on a Monday, BTL. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Search for the best combination of value and performance is over. It ends with Elite TI2. From high-res views of active imaging to mapping in real time with Genesis Live, the high-powered performance of Elite TI2 continues to dominate. And now, wirelessly share sonar waypoints and routes between TI2 displays. Get up to $200 cash back when you purchase a Lowrance Elite TI2 or Hook Reveal display. Visit Lowrance.com/offers for details.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Luz doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need a 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it in sexy shad color?
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duckett Fishing, pro-driven.
I want to share to you a new product we got coming out from Sunline. This is the FC leader size spools that we have now. We've gotten a lot of requests for this. A lot of you guys use fluorocarbon for leaders only, myself included. And one of the problems you have is when you have a 200-yard spool, that might last you 2, 3, 4 years. You might even lose it before you even get done with the spool. So we've gone to a little smaller spool. These are 50-yard spool sizes. You know, that way you're not holding your line on forever. You can keep your line fresh, use it when you can, stores real easily in the boat. We got all of our popular line sizes that you're used to with our Sniper from 5 to 14 pound. If you guys are looking for a line that you're only tying for a leader, go check out Sunline FC Leader 100% fluorocarbon and give it a try.
What kind of music is this? Oh, I didn't know we were back live.
Yeah.
Jeffries, I come into the studio and Jeffries is over there on his music service, just furiously going through the tunes, and I'm like, what are you doing, Jeffries? I've been getting some new tunes, and he was listening to all cool stuff. He comes back with some like Marvin Gaye late 90s elevator music to bring in Aaron.
That's chilling, man. We're just chilling.
I don't even
here
know
on
what
Monday.
type of music Aaron listens to. I could see
he's
him
all
over the board. I could see him as a man of many, or I could see him being into some far out like Herbie Hancock kind of stuff. You know, some like some abstract stuff that like makes sense once you get like 6 layers deep into it.
I don't know. We'll ask.
I could also see him being like pop. You know, Britney Spears in sync back from the 90s.
All right, let's bring him in and ask him. Aaron, how are you, man?
I am here. I love music. I listen to all music. I mean, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And it's funny that my music taste has kind of changed the last 3-4 weeks. But I still like all music. It's just, it's different.
What is it now?
It's the same, but it's just like like certain music sounds different to me. It's just been kind of different. It's just hard to explain.
Like abstract stuff or stuff with words? Like, are you into those, like into the EDM or classical?
I like chill, like that kind of. That was like 70s chill that Mark came on with. But I like chill, sort of abstract, I guess, for like certain things when you're doing like tying jigs or making weird bait. You know, going through some hard stuff, baits and stuff. And then some stuff like when you're fishing, like say a jig down a rocky bank. You know, Zeppelin or Rush might come on, and I like a lot of different music. I really do. I have like such a variety of music.
So
Linkin
you
Park,
have a fishing jig down Rocky Bank playlist?
Sure. I mean, I got Steely Dan. I got Christian music on there. I got a lot of stuff. I just a big variety. I really don't know what kind of music I like because the variety is so big.
All right, Aaron, man, thank you so much. I know a lot of people out there right now on the instant feedback, nothing but well wishes for you. And the fan base and the amount of feedback that you have received and well wishes truly is an indication of how much that you mean to this game.
I didn't tell you the truth. That was the one thing I was most shocked about. And I don't know how to start this thing, but it all started back, I guess it's been 5 weeks or so. And things were going perfect. You know, I was fishing like 4 days a week, running. I was getting close to 30 miles a week. I was physically, you know, because of this terrible virus going around, I was taking advantage of it and getting in really good shape, fishing a lot, feeling really good. You know, and fishing was phenomenal out here in the Coosa River, catching 7, 8, 4 pound plus spots a day. You know, 20, 22 pound bags of spotted bass every day, and lots of 3-pounders. Just fun fishing, and it all kind of went from there to like a disaster. But it's just crazy how things work. I mean, but the support, you know, this happening with the virus and stuff. I kind of woke up pretty much in the hospital from the lake, which is really weird. I remember driving sort of to the lake, but something set a seizure off on the water. And I found out a few days ago. I actually, Robbie Stanford, one of the guys with me, and Tucker's his nephew, actually gave me some Flonase as I was kind of stuffed up, and the allergies were bad. And that must have set that seizure off. Some of the tumors that were kind of giving me some seizures even last year. I don't know how long I'm going to make this story, but I actually had some seizures last year, but they were real mild. I didn't know what they were. But that Flonase must have set him off, and basically woke up in the hospital, but actually had to go home about 45 minutes. And I don't remember an ambulance picking me up. Robbie was driving, set at a high rate of speed, which I don't remember hardly any of the drive home or any of it. Tucker Smith is a two-time high school champion and really good fisherman, but he was actually kind of rubbing my chest and keeping me basically alert. Didn't want me going out, and I don't remember that. But actually, he has pictures of me getting in an ambulance at my house, and I don't remember any of that stuff. And then I don't really remember the ambulance ride to the hospital, Grandview. So all this is going down. I don't remember any of it. And then basically going from that to fishing on the water, beautiful morning, to we're going to have to do open brain surgery on you. And that was without my wife being there because of the COVID virus. You couldn't have visitors. So before I know it, I'm sitting in an emergency bed, and the surgeon's telling me he's got to do open brain surgery on me. So just unbelievable emotions, and this is all that day that happened. And then I remember one of the nurses laying her hands on me and said, "Do you mind if I pray for you?" And I was like, that was like a huge relief, because all this commotion that happened before this was like, it it's hard to explain the emotions I was going through. It's unimaginable for anybody. And that helped a ton. Unbelievable. I was like, yes, because I mean, I really at this point didn't know what was going on, and wife's not there, and just a scary time. And but that helped tremendously. She actually prayed for me, and the surgeon came in and said they were going to have to open me up and go in, and there was a tumor in my right temporal lobe. And they were going to pull that one out. And he didn't really tell me about the second one yet, but he told me that they thought they could get the one pretty easy, and that was causing some of the problems I was having. They wanted to get it out, check it, and see what it was. And so pretty much it all went down that quick. Pretty much out on a table. I mean, I don't remember them putting IVs in me. I kind of remember from that point, just because from that, the next time I remember was waking up and said they got it, and and then starting that night, luckily, I guess they probably gave me some sedatives. And then what really was phenomenal was the next morning I kind of woke up kind of early, I remember, and I must have had 1,000 messages on my phone. So I guess I did a video and not knowing her, or may have said something. My wife may have posted some stuff. I really don't know what happened. And but the amount of text messages and people that were supporting and praying for me were like, it was just the only thing to say. It was a humbling experience, because I really didn't realize that many people had heard about it, or got out there, or even cared about me that much. And that was just basically a humbling experience to know that. It made me feel a lot better, and it definitely helped me get through those hard times. But I don't want to bring anybody down. I'm trying to be as positive as possible. I mean, it's gone about as good as it could have. As good as it can go, as far as the healings and the surgeries, and the support's been phenomenal. And no, I haven't had a lot of pain. I've taken very little pain medication. They had me on other medications for some other stuff, but I actually honestly thought it would be a little more painful. It has hurt, but luckily I've been trying to stay off all the bad stuff, and just try to stay as much like myself as I can. It's, having the doctors, talking to the doctors and stuff, they tell you all the things they have to tell you. And, some of the doctors would tell me I'll probably never be the same. I may never be the same in some ways, and it's going to take years to recover from what they're doing. And so a lot of that's hard to take, but I'm a Christian, and I think this will definitely make me a better Christian. And I just prayed about it a lot in the hospital. And Grandview is it's a newer hospital, really good people helping me, nurses and doctors. And I don't think it could have been a much better place. And it got me through it. But there's still a lot to go through. But there's a lot. There's a lot. I just kind of want to get it out there. There's the good news is they did a surgery on that first one. They got it pretty good. And the second one was they didn't get it that time because it was so deep. It was actually great against the brainstem at the base of the brain, and they were afraid that they might destroy too much of the brain getting to it at that point. And but a week later, the surgeons got together and took, after about 7 or 8 MRIs and CAT scans, said they felt comfortable actually going after it surgically, which made me actually really happy, because I wanted it out. It's a pretty good sized tumor. So they called me in and said that they felt comfortable removing it. And that was one of the best. That was actually, it sounds terrible, but that was actually some of the best news I've received since this all started. And they actually, the next day, the surgeons and the nurses came out and said they actually felt really confident, like they got it all. So that's the good news, but we still have to do we have the radiation, the chemo coming. That's actually, I have some meetings today and tomorrow about radiation and chemo. That's coming pretty quick. I think it's like 6 weeks of that. But starting with a clean slate makes me feel a lot better than starting with something that's, a pretty good sized lesion in your brain.
Aaron, as far as the kind of shape that you were in prior to this happening, that really, really I would think would be a factor in your recovery, because you were in such great shape.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons they actually went in for the second one, because it was so deep. I mean, looking at the images they took with the MRIs and the CAT scans, I really honestly don't know how they got it out of there, where it was at. But I think that was one of the reasons, because the surgery went so well in the first one. And he was actually telling me he's never seen somebody's skull, because he cut through the skull, a pretty good section. He's never seen a skull heal, and he does a lot of brain, cuts through skull, that's brain and seizure and stroke victims, but he's never seen a skull heal so fast. So I don't know if my skull's healthy or just eat right or all the praying I did it, but he said he'd never seen one heal that fast. It actually healed all the way back through in a week.
Wow.
So he felt like I was a good candidate to actually go in surgically and remove it. I think it was about 13 millimeters long, the second one, so roughly about the size of your eyeball, probably. The way it looked on the MRI scan, it looked about the size of it, like your eyeball. It's kind of elongated a little bit, but it was just so deep. I mean, the base of the brain at the brainstem, I really don't know. Those guys are really the immaculate how they. I mean, it's just amazing how they can go. I know probably 10 years ago, I don't think they could have got that, but the technology these days and just what these guys know, it's amazing how they can go in there and get something like that without really messing me up.
So how's your strength, stamina, and stuff now? I mean, what are you allowed to and not do?
Yeah, I had to take it really easy since the first surgery just because of hemorrhaging, because they did cut a lot of tissue. They actually told me they were going to cut a lot of brain tissue around the tumor areas. So they weren't just going to cut the tumor out. They're actually going to cut millimeters around it to make sure they got as much as they could around it. You know, you can spare some brain tissue. It can actually heal back. So they actually, you have to be really careful of that. That's a lot of, probably sutures. I don't know what they do inside, but that's the one thing I couldn't do is raise my heart rate. So basically, like a lot of walking, like no push-ups, nothing like that. Even stretching is kind of hard. No lifting stuff. But from this last surgery to now, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm actually able to walk a lot faster, but I still can't run. But I actually have some like machines at the house that are kind of meant for this, like recovery machines, like gym machines, but they're actually made for therapy machines, like row, bike, elliptical. So I have those. I've just been getting on those and just getting on them for like 40 minutes, not strenuous, just get on them and ride, basically ride them. And that seems to really, really help to just get your blood flowing. And I think that's what kind of helps too, is get that blood flowing and your juices flowing. It actually probably does help with the healing process and fighting this thing better.
Wow. Just knowing how you fish and how meticulous you are on that and research that you do, I would imagine you have spent a lot of time researching and understanding what the heck is going on inside your head. I mean, in some way, it's got to be like you kind of like trying to become a master's course in how best to take care of yourself now.
I got my wonderful wife. She's actually probably way better at it than I am. I'm good at tackling stuff but I don't go on a computer hardly at all anyways, but she's been really a huge help, Leslie.
Yeah.
And she's been kind of researching different options for this kind of cancer to kind of counteract it, mineral wise and diet wise, exercise, anything like that. She's been really, really good on it. We even reached out to a few people that have survived this cancer, and I've actually been messaging them. And I've actually had a chance to talk to a few of them. That's kind of what I want to. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to be a good representative of Christ and God, and then I also want to help people get through stuff like this. This is nothing you ever want anybody to go through that or anybody period to go through. And I know how much like some other the people I'm talking about have helped me get through this. And if I can do that for anybody else, that'd be a huge help to me, because it's just a hard thing to go through. And just hearing that people that have beat it or are beating it, it's just it makes you feel so much better knowing that it's beatable.
I know Birmingham is really famous for the medical industry. There's a lot of research that takes place in the Birmingham area from a medical standpoint, and it sounds like that you just have some amazing surgeons and doctors that are taking care of you.
They were. I met the guy, and that's like I said. I met him before he said he had to go in your brain, and when I talked to him at that day it all happened, I felt really confident. He's kind of probably about my age, maybe 40. And but you could tell the guy was real sharp, and this is the way he talked. I guess he was one of the best surgeons in the country. But I was definitely in good hands. New hospital, new technology, and very good place to be where I was at.
All right, now you have spent some time on the water after your first surgery. Your good friend Robbie, took you out there. What was that like, and how good was it to get back on the water?
It's funny because after the first surgery, I actually felt pretty normal. I mean, definitely not like it was before, but more normal than the second surgery. But the first surgery, we went out there and the fishing was actually pretty similar. And I forget how many days after the surgery it was, but it wasn't too long after. It was pretty quick. The surgeon let me out pretty early. And we had a great day. We caught a lot of fish, big ones. And it was just the fishing was still good. Still in that kind of sweet spot of the season. And then the second surgery happened, and ever since that second surgery happened, we've been I think 4 times. But the fishing now is in that really kind of poor. I need to tell you the truth, and a lot of people out there are listening probably know this. You kind of need to either drive 2 hours south or drive 2 hours north to get somewhere different than where I'm at. Because the fish are in that funk right now in this zone, so. If I go up to Gunnersville or down the Eufaula or something like that, Seminole would probably be a lot better. But it just, I didn't mention that I had that seizure I did have that started this whole thing off. 6 months in this state from when you have a seizure, you can't drive a motor vehicle. So I've been driving a boat all right, and with people with me and not going fast. But when I get in it, I can't drive a vehicle at all. So I can't just jump in a car and go somewhere. So I have to have somebody driver. So that's why we'll probably do a little series here called Driving AMart with Tucker and Robbie. That's my life now is my wife or my friend Warren Wyman or Tucker or Robbie. Get them in the passenger seat and they're basically just doing everything for me because I can't drive. I can drive fine. I haven't had a seizure since, but legally you can't. And I mean, this state's not even that bad. Some states are like a year. So automatically I think I have 5 more months before I can drive a vehicle. So I'm being pretty optimistic. I'm hoping that I get through the chemo and the radiation good. And like I said, I'm gonna work out. Hopefully I can work out more with the radiation, and I'll be able to, and I can stay in shape. And maybe when they actually do start fishing again, I might actually be able to go fishing. I mean, honestly, I think the fishing is probably my best way of getting back to normal. Because it's what I do, and it's kind of physical anyways, and it's not too much exertion. It's not like I'm out there running, or doing crazy stuff with your body. It's more therapy. I mean, fishing really is therapeutic if you think about it. And I think I would just love to get out there with the guys and start up again. I think that would really help me probably heal and get better quicker. So I'm trying. I'm gonna do everything I can to do it, and try to set a good example. And I mean, like I said, hopefully I can help people out that go through something like this in the future.
From all the well wishes from the anglers, from the fans, from the media, there were some really, really touching photos and videos that were made by some of your friends out there that they posted on social media. And Matt and I actually talked about some of the memories that we've had. Matt even mentioned everybody has an AMart story. If you're in the media, if you're an angler, everybody has an AMart story. And one of the memories that I have was back in the days, and I don't know if a lot of the fans out there realize that you were part of that original Crown Royal team that took place back, what was that, late 90s?
Gosh. Yeah, it had to be late 90s.
Yeah. Peter T, Ski Reese, those guys.
Yeah, those were some of the coolest boats and the coolest wraps.
Yeah, let's just say 99. That's like the first. Yeah, that's where we started off with a sticker on a truck with paint. Yeah. And during that whole sponsorship, we actually went to the vinyl wraps. So I was like I think the first vinyl wraps of a bass boat in the truck was Crown Royal.
Yeah. It was that was kind of the beginning, just like you mentioned. Yeah. And then I cannot remember the company that was involved with that. Do you remember that company? It was kind of the PR marketing company. Does Leslie remember?
Yeah, JDC Marketing.
That's it. They were kind of the first ones there.
Yep, they started all that, the rapping. I remember that. It was incredible. Those were good old times.
That was, man. The purple boat. Everybody had the purple boat.
Oh, a lot of attention. Very purple. Gold sticker with a purple wrap, or a purple sticker with gold foil wrap.
I remember when I very first started covering this, Jeffries was filming that 30-second vault commercial.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that. It took that was back in the old cassette tapes. Yeah. It was 30 seconds. We have 2 cassette tapes of Aaron trying to get 30 seconds for vault. And I remember going, oh my God, I don't like. I feel like you need to go to like director school to get like. I'm never gonna be able to do this. I'm a communications major. I'm not. And Jeffries is like, dude, that's Aaron. Like, trust me, it gets easier on the spots with some of the other guys.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better than I used to. Back then I was still learning a lot.
Oh yeah, we're doing one take wonders the last couple times at the Sunline and Gammy shoots.
Yeah, back then it was new for me too.
How cool was that to be involved with JDC, and they were very instrumental in the vault days too. I mean, that was a brand that really you were associated with for so long.
Yeah, they really broke me into the bass fishing out here, because without them, I needed a break, and to me it was really like, without them, I don't know when I would have come out here, but I don't know if I don't know how many people out there have told the story to, but they actually, when John Curry called me at my house in California, I thought it was a prank call. I had a lot of friends out there that prank called me a lot, and I hung up on them. He called me back like a minute later and told me this. I don't think he'd realize this was actually a real call. And he actually called me back and told me that John Curry did. And I started thinking about, maybe this isn't Brian or whatever, Kevin Linningham. One of these guys used to prank call me, and then it actually ended up being a true call, and ended up being my break to come out east and start fishing. So they really got me on the road going out here, and so that was my start of my career. Really, that was a big break I needed.
Yeah, that was really, really kind of the heyday. I mean, I know there's good and bad times, but it just seemed like there was so much momentum going with the sport when all that was taking place, and you were right in the middle of it, man. Yeah,
that was right when it really started to take hold and go right at that point.
Yeah,
a lot of changes at that point. That's when everything kind of exploded and took off.
Yeah. So right now, obviously you have a lot of time around the house and everything. Are you continuing to tinker a little bit? I mean, do you walk out to that tackle room and go, I need to do this?
Yeah, it's been one of the hardest things getting my boat organized. Is we just came off of Lake Fork a little while ago, and like I said, fishing was springtime, really good. But now we're getting that summertime fishing. Things change, baits change, and it takes some time to change tackle over, and that's been really, really hard for some reason. But like my wife keeps telling me, just take your time, and I just got to take my time doing it. And it's just maybe looking down, still hurts. Kind of. I don't really have a lot of pain, but it's hard to explain. It's kind of just hard. It's hard to do, harder than normal. And tackle's not easy anyway, especially my tackle. You know that. But I'm getting through it. I brought a lot of it in the garage. I'll probably do some tonight. But having a clean, organized boat to me has always been essential for. Just, if you need something or if you want to use a certain bait, it's nice to be able to just grab it real fast. And right now, I haven't been able to do that. So my goal this week is probably try to get my boat organized so when I do get to go fishing, that it's more organized and I can actually fumble around less. The fumbling around is not fun for me right now.
Have you found that, you said you have been fishing since the surgeries and you have worked a little bit on tackle. Have you found that you've been able to get your mind off of everything that's gone down and actually kind of get lost in that moment, or you feel like you're kind of thinking about different stuff out there on the water?
Anybody out there that fishes at all, and I've heard this before from people over the years, that if you can get on the water or able to, or if you can't and somebody can take you, take and go, just go, because it really is probably one of the better therapies for somebody to get better from some kind of trauma. And I've always, I've wondered that, because I've taken a lot of, I've met military people over the years that have been blown up by IEDs and had, just were as healthy as me or healthier and instantly in worse shape than I am. I've had part of their brain blown up and just got mangled. And I take them fishing. I took it for granted at that point because I'd never been through a tragedy like that. But now that I've been through something that's similar, that I realize how it is really therapeutic for taking somebody like that out to. And it's not just short term. It's something that kind of goes with you for a while. So it makes me almost want to do that more when I can, is to take, somebody's veterans out or somebody that's had tragedies in their life, and actually realizing how much fishing does help me, that it makes me feel good that maybe I can do that in the future. So definitely, if you can get out and go fishing, it seems to really help. And even my wife's been going. She fishes a little bit, but she also just likes to sit in the boat and just relax, which is fine with me. But she's taken me a few times too. So I have my wife, my friend Warren, Robbie, and Tucker, and right now those are probably 4 or 5 people that have been taking me to go fishing. But it is very nice to get out there and just float around the water and fish. It really is.
All right, on the instant feedback, Dave has a question. Do you still rig your own flipping hooks with braid and the old strand of the jig weed guard?
The old strand, I mean, like the bait holder, like you used to do.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's talking about.
I used to use like a fluorocarbon weed guard, fluorocarbon heavy fluoro, like 60-pound, make a bait holder out of it. And I used weed guard for a long time with braid. I tied this a little keeper. I mean, Under makes one like that now too. But no, I actually got Gamakatsu's making a new flipping hook right now, and we have the heavy cover finesse, which is actually pretty good up to 20-pound fluoro, and I've been using that one a lot. And it's got like a tin keeper on it, but it's a right keeper. It's big and it holds really, really well. But we actually have I feel bad, but I haven't really been really doing anything for my sponsors lately. But I got a bunch of new baits I worked on in Japan, like at Riala's. I just want to say real quick, the Apex series coming out, vibration baits are phenomenal, but I haven't been able to talk about them at all just because of all the stuff that happened. And they came out during all this stuff when this started. And then also at Gamakatsu, we have a new flipping hook. I'm almost sure it's almost out now, but it's probably in the next month or so it will be out. But it's a heavier wire steel with the tin keeper on, and also we have some new feathered trebles coming out. So there's a lot of new things coming out that I haven't been able to hit base on at all. And I don't really want to talk about too much stuff, being I had brain cancer and stuff. But I mean, I feel kind of bad a little bit. You know how that is,
dude.
Come on, gets a pass there. So was that the first strictly fishing related question that you've talked about over the past month?
I haven't talked about anything fishing for like a month, probably at least. But I haven't felt like it's been proper yet. But there are a lot of new things coming out. I mean, I feel like Riala's has done. I mean, my sponsors have been really good to me and continue to support me through this. So. If I can get some people to, get out there and at least look at some of the stuff, that would make me feel better.
I've got a fishing related question. I feel it's proper to ask it at this time then. So you mentioned how you were fishing. You said, you got to go 2 hours north, 2 hours south. You're kind of in that doldrum between the late spawn and the post spawn. What is one bait kind of across that whole central swath, Alabama, Oklahoma, North Texas, that deal, that you can kind of keep in the boat and catch fish during that time period where you've either got late spawners or early post spawners, but you're not really dialed in?
There's a few things, like a lot of times, depending on the temperature and stuff, I will throw like some kind of soft jerk bait, like something you can kind of kill and dead stick and let fall in holes, or kind of work it fast and kill it. And then obviously a drop shot for me has been always one I always have on the deck of the boat this time of year. You can put little weight on it, say like an 1/8 ounce or 1/16 ounce with a. If a fish want a bigger bait, use a 6-inch. Like I'll use a 6-inch fat roboworm, which is a pretty good size bait. But if you're at a place that's got a lot of small fish, clear water, you could use a 4-inch worm. But you can also put a tiny weight on it, so you can really slow your fall. But you can also cover a lot of water, like twitching it through the water column, and you can kill it so it goes to the bottom. That's always probably one of my favorites is a drop shot. But there's a lot of different things. There's a few things I will throw. Top waters, I've been throwing my little Riala's Pencil 110 a lot, which is like a 2-hook top water, a walking bait. I always keep that on the deck of the boat this time of year. That's always a good one to have. And also the poppers come into play this time of year too. Those are just some of the baits, and around here you almost have to have a frog, pretty much have a frog on the deck of the boat all the time, as you never know. Grass clumps, a lot of grass clumps around. You want to be able to throw something across them.
How many tournament fish have you weighed in on a frog? Have you ever had a great, because who did we have on? Andy Montgomery said that he had never weighed in a bass in a tournament on a frog and had only caught like 10 fish on a frog in his lifetime.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said. And then I was starting to think about it, and I don't know. I remember you catching some fish on a frog, but you're not like do you throw a frog a lot?
Yeah, I've caught. I've thrown a frog a lot, but I've caught a lot of fish in tournaments on frogs, but not 10. Probably hundreds I've weighed in over the years. You catch them. That's something you catch fish on quite a bit. You pick it up, and you might catch 4 or 5 in a day on it. In MLF, every fish counts. It's a keeper. Legal size fish. So,
what frog do you use?
I use a multiple. I use Strike King. I use Teckle frogs. some of the Spro. I like the Spro frogs. Pretty much those three I probably use the most.
I gotcha.
Tekel, Spro, and what was the other one?
Strike King.
Some of the Strike Kings are good.
Yeah. Hey, I want to reflect back to the red trophy, the victory that you had at Table Rock, and some of the most compelling video that I saw during that event was when you were out there. The wind was blowing, the freaking waves were I don't know, 2-3 footers. They were pretty high, and dude, you were still just absolutely smashing them.
Yeah.
I have been in that situation before. And the way that you handled catching those fish in those conditions was vintage AMart. What do you remember from that? And I can't imagine trying to do that in that kind of conditions, or the average guy trying to do what you did.
Yeah, I still don't use the seat. I never have used the seat in the front of my boat. Almost never use the seat ever, even when it's real big. And that might help me in those situations. At that point, you're kind of ignoring the conditions and just doing what you can to hold. And that kind of gives you kind of a good feel for the boat. So if you do need maybe 5 or 10 feet to the right or 10 feet forward, 20 feet behind you, it kind of makes it easier to kind of make those jogs. If you know there's a waypoint behind you or something you need to fish that's over here, it kind of makes it easier to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But it's probably my physical conditioning. I mean, like I said, I stretch a lot and I still run quite a bit. And just the fact that I don't use the seat, I really don't kind of need one. I don't know about now. I haven't been in big water yet. I honestly feel pretty good right now. I feel like I could handle some decent water, but I don't know about that kind of water.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I was talking to Russ Lane, and we were worried. He's kept me updated a little bit on it, and I said, dude, I said, is this stuff gonna like change who Aaron is? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, who knows? It's brain surgery. I said, what if he comes back and he's as organized as Jeff Crete and talks as much as Biffle? Wouldn't that be weird? But I was glad to know, like, through this interview, man, like, didn't touch a thing. Still AMart. I mean, I could see it. Could you see it?
No.
If Aaron comes back tournament fishing after this, just stuff crap laying all over the boat.
Yeah.
Not talking.
That's a good question. I honestly don't know, to tell you the truth. It has changed. The doctors told me it's going to take years to recover from the surgeries they did. I mean, what they did in there is pretty substantial. And then, I feel a little different. That's the weird part. That's the part I don't like. But like I say, I'm on medication. I don't like anything medication, or I only take painkillers or Advil. So being on these medications kind of messing me up real bad. But I'm going to get off as many as I can, as soon as I can, of course. But I honestly don't know how I'm going to feel starting up again. But I just know that being on the water, like I said, it feels good still. I feel like I still can make good moves, and I feel like I can still compete. So that's good news. But I just don't know. I don't want to. The only thing I don't want to do is ever change. Make me a different person in a bad way. Like make me. If anything, I want to come out. I want to come out a better person. That's all I know, and that's what I pray for. Is just it makes me a better person. If I can come out a better person, I'll be happy.
How's the cat?
Cat's good. I fed him this morning. He ate half his food, and I let him. He wanted outside pretty quick. He's doing good. This weird thing is that, like the sleeping in and stuff, I usually like sleeping in when I'm at home, with my wife, and I just can't. It's just weird. The last 5 weeks, can't sleep in. Can't. It's hard to relax. That's the part you think would be easy. Like when you think having surgeries like this and going through what I've been through, you think everybody would be like relax, put your feet up, and that's not. Doesn't cut it for me. I don't think that's what I need right now. The way I feel, I think the more I move around, the just feel good. More active. That's and I don't know if it's just for me or just for what I've gone through. It just seems to be better. It works for me, or it's just what I've gone through. But I think Aaron's still there. I don't think you lost me. I think I'll be fine.
No, you're still there. Trust me. You're still there, Aaron.
That's good.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap things up and let you go. I cannot wish you. There are so many people out there and so many fans that wish you the best. I mean, you're in great hands. It sounds like your doctor team that you have assembled is just awesome. And Aaron, man, you inspire so many people, and you are definitely an icon in this game. And we wish you nothing but the best, man.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on the show. I love your show. It's my favorite. And I appreciate you guys having me and all my people out there supporting me and their thoughts and prayers. I can't thank you enough. It really has helped tremendously. And a very humbling experience on my side, believe me. It's been good for me. It's a very good thing.
All right, man. Take care. We'll have you back on soon, and just enjoy your time on the water, and wish you nothing but the best, Aaron.
Thank you, guys.
All right, man.
See you, Aaron.
Be safe.
Take care, guys. Everybody
ya.
out there.
All right. There you have it. AMart, Aaron Martens. Wow, what an inspiration, man.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, just to be candid, it's like, how is he going to come back? Because it's such a unique, just his thought process and everything you get around it. You're like, man, this guy thinks it's different than the average person in a very positive way.
Yeah.
You always learn something. I remember back when he was with Enigma, we did like a wrap up for the rods every time.
Yeah.
And we did it, and I was like, let's do it behind this like little tree shrub thing there. And like right in the middle, he's like, and here's what I cut. And he just stops and he goes, hey, you can pet that leaf going with the leaf, but if you pet it against it, you get little barbs in your finger. And we're like still running, and I just let it roll, and he's like, here, watch. And he like goes over and he like pets it. He like names the scientific name of the plant, and he's like, see, it likes it when you pet it with the leaf. And then he goes, you go against the leaf, and then all these little barbs were in his finger. Who would have known?
No, man, so many memories with him over the years. And he was one of those guys, as we discussed. He was one of the guys in the vintage time of this game when corporations got involved and the wraps were starting, and that brand identity really started to build for all those guys out there. And I think too many people dwell on the whole second place thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it. The guy's got a ton of hardware in his home. Mm-hmm. A ton. So, he's got a bunch of seconds, but you know what? He's definitely one of the top 5 guys of all time.
If you look at how he wins, I like to call it innovatively simple.
That's a good. I like that.
Very good. A lot of the times, a lot of the patterns that you see him win, whether it's where he almost won at the Arkansas River, the one that Denny Brower won, where he won in the marina right there, was that out of the Chesapeake Bay, Gunnersville. You go back to his wins, and you're like, Aaron's doing what? Where? And then you sit there and watch it, and you're like, that's really simple. It makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. But the way that he puts it together and figures it out is, he's exploiting a lot of stuff that a lot of guys are overlooking, using non-traditional techniques in very obvious locations, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What year was it that Jay Ellis won the Classic? I can't remember that. 2002? Was it the year after?
Wasn't it the year before Woo Daves in
No, that was 2000.
2000? 99 then. No, that was Davey Height.
Yeah.
98 was Denny Brower.
No, 3 was Ike and Ellie.
Yeah, 04 was Talk. 05 was Kevin.
Anyway, it was in the early was it 2000? Anyway.
2002?
Maybe. One of the things that I remember is I was with Jay on day one.
Yeah.
And I've told this story, about the pontoon boat and just how he was fishing that jig up by the dam on Lay Lake. But Aaron was in a battle.
2002.
Okay, 2002. He was in a battle with Jay. And I remember every single day that I was on the water as we ran up to the dam, Aaron was fishing this really non-obvious area, as he does. And I will never forget, he was using a rooster tail. Trying to catch these fish that were on this little jetty. And it was just so impressive on how he would attack things a little bit different than everybody else, but he would figure it out, and then he would master this plan that he put together to where, he had some second places, but I think that's part of the reason why he has so much hardware in his home, man. One of the great memories that I have is that 2002 Classic on Lay Lake, seeing him throw that rooster tail. So great to see him, man. He looks good, and
he's got. Yeah. And I mean, it's not all roses there. I mean, he said it. He's got radiation and chemo ahead of him, and years to get back. And
I know there's a lot of people out there that probably have had either relatives or friends that have battled cancer, and the attitude is everything. And the way that AMart is conducting his attitude and being positive. He's still Aaron, but man, it is just it is so refreshing and really, really I'm glad he is acting and really conducting
you can relate
himself.
a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you even want to go into it, but obviously you have talked about it on the show. You have MS, and it related to the first symptoms you ever had. We were headed back from ICAST. Was it in Vegas or Orlando?
In
Vegas.
It was in Vegas.
I vividly remember this. What year would that have been? It'd have been like, say, 8-10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And you're going through the metal detector, right?
Yeah. And I couldn't feel my leg.
You had change in your pocket.
Yeah.
And you said you didn't have change in, because I was behind him and Mark got stopped. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? He said, do you have anything in your pocket? He said, no. Mark had a pocket full of change. He couldn't feel it.
I couldn't feel it.
And then I remember I come in the studio. He came back. He did the test. And Mark's like, yeah, I got something in my brain. Would you have an MRI for it?
Yeah.
And then you had to wait. You said it was either lesions or tumors.
Right.
And you didn't know. So at that, I mean, you can relate to kind of that call. I mean, that's got to be a scary experience, doesn't it?
I have a lesion that's about the size of a quarter on my brain. And the difference is the lesion is like a scab. It's not a mass, all right? But the biggest, most stressful thing was the only way that they could determine whether or not it was MS or a tumor, obviously they could do brain surgery and you go in and you do a biopsy on it and all that and everything. But at the time, they really felt that I had MS. But the only true way to determine whether or not you have MS is by doing a biopsy on your spinal fluid. So I had to go in for a spinal tap. They pulled the fluid out. And here was just the most painful thing is you had to wait 7 to 10 days for the results of that test. Okay, so is it a tumor or is it MS? Well, either way, it's not a good thing, but I'm so thankful and fortunate that it is and was and is a lesion, of which it only affects my left leg, of which you could take a knife and you could stab it in my thigh and I wouldn't feel squat.
So not only did I get beat by a one-legged Mark who can't feel his trolling motor leg and hasn't fished in 10 years. While we're on the subject of health, let's just come full circle. Appears as though Shaw Grigsby's surgery went well.
Yeah.
And he is home. Obviously, he had kidney cancer.
Yes.
And it looks like they caught it early based on what his posts were. So a speedy recovery for Mr. Grigsby as well.
Yeah, so a lot of good news.
It's a heavy show. I mean, that's life. It's what happened.
It is. But he looks great, and I can't thank him enough for coming on this show. And I know, having spoke with him in length last night, that he is very, very appreciative and thankful for all the fans and their best wishes out there. It was cool, too, to see a lot of the anglers that put a very simple dedication and what AMart meant to them in the sport. And that's just really, really
What's
cool.
crazy is seeing some of these guys that have been around for 8-10 years, and they're posting their earliest memories of AMart, and you forget that AMart's been in this game for so long, and here are like established, pros in their 30s that are posting like when they're kids at sports shows with Aaron. And Aaron has the white and red embroidered Ranger jersey tucked in, and even back in the Crowd Royal and stuff. These kids are, 18, 17, 16, 15 years old, and now they're 25, 26, 30 years old. And the guy's been around forever. And like I said, I don't know anybody who, when they passes, goes, I hate Aaron Martens. Everybody's like, yo, AMart.
Yeah.
Takes it forever to go anywhere. because he talks to every fan. He talks to every person. He wants to look at it on the Elite Series and looked in everybody's weigh-in bags. Talked to, I'm sure it's like that, after the tournaments now, because I can't talk fishing during.
Yeah. Great dude, man. Great dude. And hopefully good things will happen over the next 6 months. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Tomorrow, Josh Bertrand, and then Tim Horton on Wednesday, and then a In the Can show for Thursday, man. You
Go vote on your BFE color.
Yeah. Are you going to do any fishing while you're at Table Rock, maybe?
I have a trolling motor that's not exactly functional right now.
Getting that fixed. You're getting that fixed. Hopefully we can do the
I was a little rough on it over the past couple weeks. I had to really speed up to try to catch up to someone the other day, and may or may not have dead centered some things at 9 to 10.
Wow.
Which resulted in it not functioning properly.
Yeah. Well, get it taken care of. All right, that's it, folks. Everybody be safe. We are out of here.